The Sonichu Medallion is a cursed artifact created by the patient Zero of Lolcows, Chris Chan. Chris has always claimed he was a god and that his medallion contained powers. Well, he wasn't too far off. The medallion, even copies of the artifact, contains some cursed dark magic. Almost everybody who has put this on has experienced great misfortune at some point. These are their stories. Back in the 2015 era of YouTube, the YouTuber Idubbbz had an untouchable reputation. He was known for ending careers, and people universally loved him. He would do a series called Bad Unboxing where his fans would send him mystery packages and he'd open them up and make content out of it. This was when he was still making good content. Almost 10 years ago, on November 26, 2015, Idubbbz released a fateful video. Straight out of Compton, Bad Unboxing. In this video, Idubbbz unboxes a package where a fan sent him a replica of a Sonichu Medallion. Ian takes it out and puts it on. To be fair, this was not officially sourced from Chris Chan, but as we'll see, the curse will be placed nonetheless. Shortly after, Ian met his would-be wife, Anissa Jomha, and a few years after that, Anissa started an OnlyFans where she'd start selling nude pictures of herself. This was the beginning of the end for Idubbbz's reputation. He would show that he was insecure over the backlash he was getting. Anissa would also become more and more inflammatory on the internet, picking fights with people because she cannot control herself.
You can actually tell when I'm having a terrible day because I will not shut up on Twitter. I will not fucking shut up. I will tweet the stupidest shit.
Afterwards, Idubbbz would run a charity boxing event that would inevitably crash and burn for numerous reasons, one of which because he and his dumb as rocks wife would gradually burn bridges with everyone they were friends with. In the end, Ian and Anissa would leave Seattle, move into Anissa's mom's basement, and try to leech clout off of Hassan Piker despite him not giving two craps about them. It took a while to take effect, but the Sonichu Medallion really cursed Idubbbz's life. In the words of PPP from Kino Casino, he's broke, he's felted, he's subterranean. Whoa, buddy. Nick Rekieta is a lawyer who has a channel titled Rekieta Law. He would always advertise himself as a small law firm in Minnesota. He started out as a wholesome individual in a Christian household, beautiful wife, and 5 children. He obtained this already in his 20s, and with a good paying job, he was about to hit even bigger with his YouTube channel. He made it big by covering high-profile lawsuits. The first one was on voice actor Vic Mignogna when he was suing others for defamation after he was falsely accused of sexual assault. Next was the Rittenhouse trial, where he'd reach 100,000 concurrent viewers at one point during his live streams, but even that would pale in comparison to his coverage of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. At this point, he was raking in money. He could afford to retire and had trust funds for every single one of his kids. He could do what any good Christian would do, but unfortunately, the medallion would pull him away from God's grace before he even received it. It started with him posting lewd and suggestive images of him and his wife and talking about certain toys such as the Baldo. This would break the facade of a wholesome Christian family man. There were reports that he would often skip church as well or leave early. More and more, he would drink on his live streams. He would often talk about going to parties and clubs that would be very inappropriate for such a man, such as an underwear-only bar. He and his wife would also become swingers with other couples, even in their very own home where his 5 children would be living. While he was in a downward spiral, he made a fateful decision to put on the Sonichu Medallion he received from a fan. His drug abuse got worse as people noticed he was shaking on live streams. This all culminated in a catastrophic live stream where he looked absolutely terrible, drunk and high out of his mind. He could barely even speak. This stream was reviewed by former cokehead Andy Worski, who provided his expert opinion. He noticed something. Another woman was giving him head. This would ultimately lead him, his wife, and his mistress to all getting arrested. They were all found with hardcore drugs such as cocaine and MDMA. There was even cocaine found on one of the kids. He was charged with child endangerment and drug abuse and convicted on the drug charge. Someordinarygamers, or Mudahar as we might know him, is a commentary channel with a sort of tech theme to it. He comes across as tech savvy, having a strong interest in all things programming. He claims to be an engineer, but these claims are dubious, which we'll learn about going forward. The reason why people didn't pick up on this dishonesty is because he's generally a lot more likable than another liar who can't code for pirate software. Anyways, in 2022, around the date of VidCon, Mudahar took the plunge and equipped the dreaded medallion and posted a picture on Twitter. Mudahar would since get into several controversies. The first was when he had a falling out with Nuxtaku when they viewed lolly hentai together, and Mudahar tried throwing him under the bus, but this was eventually resolved. The next controversy would honestly be really petty, which was when Mudahar talked about how he would never buy the Nintendo Switch 2, and then he did. And then he did some dramatic apology video for it, which is honestly really cringe, but easily forgettable. Despite these initial dramas being minor, this changed people's view on Mudahar as being a normal Penguin Zero clone, and they began looking at him with a critical eye. YouTuber Nick Andros released a video hyper-analyzing his claims of being an engineer, and then people realized that things weren't adding up. Basically, all of Mudahar's claims of being a software engineer were complete bull, as he took just one semester of a computer science program and then dropped out. As someone who actually has a software developer job, let me tell you, I don't have the time to be doing daily uploads like Mudahar does. This would be the start of an internet dogpile. Videos coming out left and right dunking on Mudahar. Tweets and videos getting close to 100k likes. Liar. Fraud. Indian. What the hell? No. Racism is not funny, guys. Let's continue. People were even accusing what he was doing as being illegal. In Canada, impersonating an engineer is highly illegal. People began looking into this, hoping to have the book thrown at him. Thankfully, though, what he said didn't technically break the law, as it is somewhat nuanced. However, he came close, and knowing how the Sonichu Medallion works, perhaps a tyrant in the government could crack down on him in the future. Here we have Lil Sippy. Who is this degenerate, you might be asking? Well, he's a pathetic man who tried to make a name for himself online by buddy trolling Daniel Larson. In a phone call, Lil Sippy showed off his Sonichu Medallion collection. Now, I'm not sure why you'd brag about giving money to a man who may have raped his 80-year-old mother, but to each their own, I guess. Lil Sippy has an extensive criminal record, and he has been facing several charges for years. On September 24th, 2025, Lil Sippy was found guilty of felony gun charges and was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. Finally, we have Gino Samuel. He's the man responsible for documenting Chris Chan in a 1 million-part documentary. He sells his own merchandise, including the Sonichu Medallion, and he's worn it. So far, nothing has happened to him, but the world is holding its breath. Hopefully, Gino can be the one to finally break this dreaded curse. Happy Halloween, everyone. Stay safe.